Hey, hey.
Hey, y'all. All right. As y'all know, you got Craig and myself, Freddie, here tonight with Tiger Talk with some Clemson gentlemen for episode 14, man. Craig, can you believe we've been 14 episodes already, man?
That's hard to believe.
I,
Hard to believe the regular season's over.
yeah, I know. I know. I was thinking the same thing. Um, you know, we have we've had a blast, man. And
Been
hey,
awesome.
it's not going to end after tonight, of course.
We got
We're going to
basketball,
talk
man.
football. We're going to talk basketball. We're going to talk some baseball. Throughout the year, we'll throw some other
Ball
sports in
game.
there too if we've got anything on them. But
That's right.
as we usually do, Craig, is I know you've had a little bit of a break. I know you were telling me you've been under the weather and stuff. But how
Man,
are things going in the world of Manning?
look
So
here. I'm going to tell you something, Freddie. Now, it ended up that it was food poisoning I had last Friday night at three. Well, actually Saturday morning, 3:30 in the morning,
ooh,
and it took me out. But my goal was to be able to eat Thanksgiving dinner, and I ate two of
hey,
them.
look here, man.
and
Uh,
and look here, and topped it off yesterday. I had to work, but I got to watch the game at work all by myself, and I got the pace and um, walk outside, blow off some steam. But it was all great. How about your week, man?
Man, look here. It actually I've been blessed, man. I really have. We always talk about, we don't realize how thankful we should be a lot of times, but this past couple of weeks has really made me really thankful. I'm thankful for, my friends, my family, thankful for you. You know,
Same, bro.
and you did. I know you were feeling under the weather last weekend, so you didn't get sick. My goal was, and I told everybody this, all Tigers, you have turkey on Thanksgiving. All right, on Black Friday you have leftovers, and then Saturday we have chicken.
That's right.
And at the end of the weekend, guess what? We had that word out. I mean, it just
Yeah.
you can't make this stuff up. You
Hey,
know.
and guess what? And for Sunday dinner, we had chicken,
There you
fried
go.
chicken.
Hey, I'm telling you, man. You know, it's chicken's always good. It always
Right.
is, especially in November.
Oh
So,
yeah.
um, look here, and let's be honest with everybody out there. Most everybody that listens or watches us, I'm sure feel have that same hat that you got right there that you pointing at. That Paul. Okay. And don't get me wrong. I'm sure we have some others that love to listen in and probably laugh at us a little bit and
That's right.
enjoy it. Hey, look here, as long as you're enjoying the show, that's all that matters.
That's
But at
right.
the end of the day, we are Tigers through and through.
That's right.
And you
No
know,
matter what.
that's right. Was this season what we wanted? No. Did it end the way we wanted? Yes. For the most part.
Yep.
I think it's going to be really interesting. Kind of like I was listening to the fifth quarter yesterday, and I can't think of the guy's name. It's Donnell something that does the fifth quarter with them, and
Yep.
he made the comment. He said, "Look, we're not in it. We're not in the ACC. Running. We're not going to be playing next Saturday, but this year we get to enjoy the chaos that is ACC
Oh yeah.
football."
That's right. Big
And
time chaos.
yeah, well, and before we get into yesterday's game, let's think about this thing. All right, so you got Duke playing UVA, and all of us are
And
pulling for
Virginia.
Tony.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that's hands down, no doubts there. But think
How
about
did Duke
this.
sneak in there?
Exactly. Exactly. Well, think about this. Duke is 7-5. If they somehow pull off this upset win over Virginia, think about how much chaos the ACC fills into the playoff scenario. Because if that happens, if I understood it correctly earlier, that could mean that Alabama gets left out. The ACC will get left out because Duke is not ranked higher than Miami. Okay, and they're 7-5. Do you really believe that the committee is going to put an 8-5 ACC team in? No.
No.
They were talking about James Madison in some other small school. I can't. I mean, this could be the most chaotic
Uh,
college playoff that the country has seen since its inception.
it's
Um,
going to be crazy.
it is. It is. So hey, it's going to be interesting to watch. And I'll be honest with you. Usually, when Clemson's not playing in the ACC championship game, I don't watch it. I will be watching it this year. I will be pulling for UVA. Um, hey, you know, especially
Yep.
after the way we lost to Duke and in that fashion. So,
Yeah.
um,
And
hey,
I still don't get how they snuck in there, to be
no,
honest.
it makes no sense to me, but
I mean,
that's why they get paid the big bucks, man.
yep.
You know,
I mean, because you got a 10-2 Miami team that lost to Louisville and SMU.
yep. Well, and if you think about it, the thing that's hurting Miami the most is the Louisville loss
Yeah.
because that one, there's no reason for that one, from the way I can see it. That SMU game, that one, I watched that game against Cal last night, and look, Cal, and I don't want to take anything away from Cal, but they really didn't win that game. SMU shot themselves in the foot every time he turned around. So
Yeah.
you know,
If they would have
it,
won, I mean,
they'd have been in. Yep,
it would have been in.
that's right. So, um,
That's unfortunate. I hate
yeah.
it.
Another one that I will throw out there that I'm happy for before we get into our heated rivalry game was Oklahoma. I am so happy for Brent.
Yep, me too.
They're looking at
Pulling for
making the
him and
playoffs. Yeah, yeah.
I hope they
Um,
don't have to play each other.
I know, but
I'd be
hey,
torn. I can't. Well, I won't be torn. It'd have to be Tony all the way.
me too.
That's a
Tony
Clemson man.
always has had my heartstrings, man. I mean, you gotta think. I mean,
He,
nobody gave him a chance of doing what he's doing.
yeah,
Okay. Brent Venables went to a team that everybody wanted to be good or expected them to be good, and I mean, they're considered a blue blood. Tony has always had that chip on his shoulder because of you know the way he came up and all
yeah.
that kind of stuff, and so
Hey,
oh, good.
he's got the American success story because, like you said, the tragedies in his life and the car
Yep,
accident with his mom, walking on at Clemson, and
exactly.
graduating in 3 years. I mean, he's an
Hmm.
incredibly intelligent man. I think he graduated with a degree in engineering from Clemson.
Hmm.
Walk on to a starter on the football team, to the offensive coordinator of national championship teams and playoff teams, and now
Hmm.
he's living the dream as a major college football head coach and got success with it. So
That's right.
go
That's right.
Tony Elliott.
Yep. All right, our number one fan has chimed in already. I am glad to see him too.
Barano.
Yes, sir. Says good to have you back. I agree 100%. The show was not the same without him. Um, Part of me would love to see Duke win and lead the ACC out. I agree with that. Tony and Clemson missing out on playoff money as we wanted UVA to win. Yeah,
Yes.
I
Same.
agree with him on that. I can understand it.
I'm I'm
Um,
a I'm a Cavaliers fan
there you go.
throughout the rest
Me
of
too.
football season.
That's right. But all right. What everybody has tuned in to talk about, I'm sure. Nobody really gave us a shot last week. On college game day, um, the only two that gave us a shot were Desmond Howard and Kirk
And
Herbstreit.
old
And
Herbie.
yep, Desmond said that he felt like the defense was going to put it together for this game. I remember that. And Kirk Herbstreit, I cannot remember how he put it, but pretty much that he felt like that we had the better chances to win. Everybody else full headed steam. I can't think of the guy's name that just recently came on there. I'm not a fan of his. Um,
Oh,
but
he is hilarious. Pat McAfee.
Yep,
He is
that's
he
it.
is
All right.
absolute. Look here, he and Nick Saban are polar opposites, and I
Yeah.
love watching their
Oh
interaction.
yeah.
I
Well,
will
it was
say that.
funny. It was really funny because whenever he made the comment, all right, when they were going through their stuff, Nick Saban picked South Carolina, and then right after that, he said, "Give me the Cox," and they had Aiden Hutchinson on there, and Aiden Hutchinson's look on his face is just priceless. He's like, "Huh?" He says, "Well, they're Gamecocks." He's trying to explain it away. They're Gamecocks, man. And he's like, "Oh, okay." But
Yeah.
and then on the SEC network, I think 3 out of the 5 actually picked Clemson. I was kind of
Yep.
shocked at that. But hey, I you were out last week, and I will spare you the agony of having to admit that you went with your polar opposite last week
Oh yeah.
and picked them. You know what I'm saying? I did pick Clemson. I actually did not pick them to win by 2 touchdowns. That was kind of shocking. I was a little worried, kind of like Michael even said during the game, that it was going to come down to the last drive and we were going to be up by 6 and need our defense to make a
That's right.
stand.
Well,
So,
you
but
know, speaking of defense, the boys brought it, minus a few hiccups, but for the most part, those boys brought it.
yeah, I was overall impressed with the defense. I The offense did exactly what I thought they could do. Now I will say this. I don't want to say completely. All right, the offensive line for a patchwork offensive line did really well against a defense that should everybody expected to be able to get past them and put pressure on Cade.
Yep.
Um, Now, with that being said, there were a lot of quick passes by Cade, which I think were intentional, and I think they planned it. And that's how you beat a good defensive line. Um, you know, Now
That's
I'm gonna jump back to defense where you started out at, and we talked about this a little while ago. I had not thought about it too much, but now I love Dabo's comments, like I told you earlier at halftime, that overall he was really happy, other than 2 of the worst looking plays that he thought he had ever seen. But and I
yeah.
had not thought about it until last night. My nephew brought up a good point. Um, and I've watched some of Carolina's games this year. I've not watched all of their games, of course, but he pointed out that Carolina has beaten a lot of teams with that one play with Nick Harbor on the left hand side, you know, for a touchdown all year long. Um, so I'll
Yeah.
I'll give them that play. That play I will give them because, but the one that still I get sick still thinking about. Um,
That one where,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
we had one dude that was just making a picnic or something right there in the
I
field.
mean, Lucas looked like he was starstruck, man.
I
Looked
know.
like looked like me walking up to the Rock and going,
That's right. I
oh.
was like, man. And then I'm gonna tell you one thing. I hate to call out a player, but one thing that disappointed me was even when he got his attention to where it was supposed to be, he didn't have hustle to try to run the dude down.
That's very true. That is very true. Um, Now, with that being said, um, I feel very, very giddy about what Tom Allen can do with a year under his belt and getting,
Yeah,
more of his players in there. That is going to be, I do believe that he's going to help out a lot. I really do.
yeah, yeah. And I'm gonna tell you, there's gonna be some keys for Tom Allen. I'm very high on Will Helt,
Oh, yeah.
and he's a
Oh,
junior.
yeah. Yep.
I hope he sticks around.
I'm hoping that too.
We need him.
I agree. I agree. There's gonna be a couple that to keep an eye on. After TJ Parker had the year he had, it'll be interesting. And I know he's still being projected pretty highly. it's going to be interesting to see what his decision is going forward. It'll also be, interesting to see what Will Helt's decision is going forward, because Will Helt's another one that, he already had, a pretty high draft. I think he had some pretty high draft stock already, but this year is going to really make his draft stock jump up, I believe. All right, so
Yes.
just I don't know how to explain that one. It looked odd. It did look odd. I agree. And shout out to the D and O line.
Yes.
I totally agree. I mean, I mean, excuse me, they've been picked on and called out all year long. And, for at least one game, both of those sides showed up and showed out.
That's right. Hey,
Um,
and that's, you know what? And that's where it's all won, is in the trenches.
that's right.
The big boys.
And Cade made the comment after the game that, Dabo did too, that this team plays for Clemson. They weren't playing for, themselves and stuff like that. And I believe that because, if they were playing for themselves, if you think about this thing, when we were 1-3, how easy would it have been to have kind of, mailed it in the rest of the season? How often have we seen that happen out of teams? Because think about this thing, nobody anywhere was giving Clemson a chance at finishing with any more wins other than the Furman game at that time,
Yep.
and much less being bowl eligible or having a chance at a 7-5 record.
That's right.
For instance, for example, this is the first Clemson team ever, and I know we've expanded, we play more games now, but you're not playing but one more game, okay? But this is the first team in Clemson history to take a 1-3 team and end up 7-5.
Yep.
So, and have a chance at being 8-5. So, yeah.
And I mean, as hard as we've been, and I know especially me, have been on the coaching staff, hey, that's some really good coaching to be able to get those guys back on track, keep them focused. Even though there's still a lot of head scratchers during about every game, but still yet they made the most of very little hope. You know?
Yeah. They made lemonade out of a stand of lemons.
Oh yeah, that's exactly right.
So, yeah.
And, and I'm going to say this too: that game Saturday, while it was far from perfect, all three phases of the game were pretty daggum good.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, the only thing that really disappointed me was that was a glimpse of what could have been for the season.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, if they'd have put it together in the beginning, just think about, how much better how much better off we'd have been now.
That's right.
Hey, that's the thing you got to love about college football, because you never know from week to week what you're going to get.
That's right. So, well, Freddie, that game Saturday for both teams, because really, especially Carolina, wasn't a whole lot at stake for them other than pride. That was a game played on pride.
That's right.
Hey, Tiger pride.
There you go, man. There you go.
But I'm proud of what we've accomplished, and that game Saturday was a good culmination of, hey, we're gonna finish off strong, and I believe we're gonna be 8-5. 8-5 losses, but hey, we're gonna end on a high note.
That's right. Well, and that's what Dabo said yesterday in the post-game press conference. They have a chance to finish 8-5, and if you can do that, you go into next season feeling really good about, what your chances are going forward.
That's right.
I also was kind of shocked that he stated that, I think he stated after the game that he didn't expect very many opt-outs for the bowl game, which, I'm kind of shocked at.
That impresses me because I heard a few player interviews and a lot of them said, I think T.J. Parker was one of them, said, I'm getting ready for the bowl game.
Yep. Exactly.
You know what? And that's how it should be.
That's right.
Right. You're still a part of that team. If you're going pro, then great, but you finish out.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Finish.
Exactly.
So I'm proud. I hope that every single one of them play in that bowl game.
Well, and it's a testament to Dabo and the way he was able to rally these players. I don't know how many saw it yesterday.
The culture he's developed there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. Even in Williams-Brice Stadium, they took that new tradition. I don't know whether you want to call it tradition or what you want to call it, but they started before the FSU game, right after Tiger Walk in Death Valley. The team rallied around the Clemson Paul and prayed together. Before the game. And I'm going to stand up for just a second. Give me just a second.
Yeah, but I think that's a good thing. That's unity.
I've had some technical difficulties at my house over the last week or so I'm having to do my part from my school office, and I didn't get to tell everybody that last week. I apologize, but if I sit here for just a couple of minutes, the lights will go out in my office. So I have to get up and walk around the edge of the desk. But they did that again yesterday in Columbia, and I was very impressed with that. That's something that I hate that it took this type of season to get that started, but at the same time, it's something that I think needed to be done. I'm glad they did it.
Oh yeah, that's unity.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
And speaking of that, I was proud, and which I knew that all of our players aren't perfect. But at the end of the game, there was a few little scuffles out there.
Mm-hmm.
And the videos that I saw two of our players get an uppercut to the chin.
Yep.
By South Carolina players. And I was happy to see Peter Woods was one of them.
Yeah.
He got, it wasn't a hard hit, but it looked like he might have been trying to grab him and kind of came up and
That's right.
Woods could have jumped on it, but he backed off. He's like, I'm gonna remember this.
I was also happy to see Dabo because I don't know whether anybody that watched the end of the game, they actually cut from Dabo's on-field interview to some of that scuffling. And Dabo goes over there and he actually broke it up and was in the middle of them and is hugging the Carolina player. And there have been several reports that both Shane Beamer and Dabo Sweeney, caught players from opposite sides and were giving them hugs and congratulate. That's what you want to see out of your coaching staff.
Yes, exactly. That's class, and on both sides. Shane Beamer.
I read an article earlier that. And I noticed that earlier in the week, Dabo stated that we would win with class. There would be no flag planting at the midfield, on the midfield logo and stuff like that this week. And I did read an article earlier that he was upset with some of our players with how they celebrated after the game. Did you see anything on that? Did you see that article?
I did, but hey. I'm going to say this. Like I said, there's a little bit of not so good on both sides. And these are still young men. They're passionate about what they do. Our players weren't perfect either. But I think with all the taunting that the student section for South Carolina, our Walk of Champions just happens to be going right towards the student section. And our players, when they got to the end zone, they went and kind of taunted. But look here, I thought it was a Leonard Skinner concert to start with because there's so much Freebird going on out there.
Yeah. Well, and my way of looking at it, I understand where he's coming from, and I get it. He's he's wanting to do it in a classy way. I get that. I don't think that them taking a picture of the trophy together on the field is all that egregious. Especially whenever you had fans and others last year on DePaul taking belts and beating
Yep.
DePaul. I still don't understand what adults think is so cool about that, but
Yeah.
hey,
Hey, but you know what? We've endured. Was it Tannehill signing
yeah,
his name on the Paul? We've
yep,
endured the famous picture, the infamous picture of, I think it's Mike Holes kind of throwing the ball to William Perry.
yep.
I mean, stuff
I
like that
mean, the
happen now.
five bombs. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's you know, uh, I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Hey,
just
I'm glad our boys had fun, and with, hey, like Dabo says, fun's in the winning.
it's exactly right. Um, somebody, I think my cousin asked me last night, said, "Did we dance in the locker room?" I'm thinking to myself, "Do you really have to ask this?
Exactly. Lord
We
have mercy.
win, we dance. All right."
That's right.
You know, now Jeff is asking if we've heard anything on staff changes. We all suspect that are on the way. I have not heard anything recently. I still feel, I know I think you feel that Riley could stick around another year.
Well,
Um,
I'm torn, Freddie.
I, well, this is just my opinion only, nobody else's. I think Riley's gone. I really
Think
do.
so. Yeah,
Um,
and I'm now. Now put it. I want to say this. I trust Coach Sweeney's decision making. I mean, every time he's made a change, it's been, well. Let me back up. It hadn't been. It hadn't been horrible.
yeah,
And
yeah,
there's reasons behind it, and I know, and that's hard for him. Um, you know, Riley was supposed to be bringing this kind of fun and gun like
yeah.
offense, and I
What they
mean,
call it, a dirt raid?
yeah, it's air raid or something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
yeah.
and I mean, you can't. This is what? How many years he been there? 3.
Three, three.
I mean, I can understand the first season coming in. Well, you didn't really have a lot to work with, but I mean, third year, look here, running up the middle 15 times a game.
Yeah. Throw a
I,
screen
I,
pass on third down.
yeah, and I get that you. I mean, you've got to do stuff like that. I get that, but man, look here, we have so much more success on those edges on those runs.
Hmm.
Um, you know, I don't mind the screen, the little
Uh,
bubble screen, but not daggum 5, 6 times a game.
yep. Well, in the pregame show yesterday, before the game, they pointed out they brought up a good point, and I had not thought about this. But all right, let's say third and goal from the one. You bring Peter Woods in. It's gotten a little bit stale because everybody knows what's coming. When you bring Peter
Yep.
Woods in, you're not giving the ball to your. And sadly enough, I still believe just a few games back, you give it to Adam Randall instead of Peter Woods. I believe Adam Randall scores. I
Oh
really
yeah.
do. Um,
Look Yeah.
but you got to come up with some kind of, in other words, you can't run, and I get it. Okay, you're going in there mano a mano and going, hey, we're coming at no. It's too easy to figure that out. Okay, you got to have some plays off of it, something to throw people off. And actually, I want to say they did that one time Saturday
They
with
did.
a short yardage situation.
Yeah.
Finally, I mean, but now when I say what I've said about Riley, I'm not saying that we're firing him. Okay,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I have from the way I've understood it or the way I'm reading some things, it makes me wonder if he doesn't already have an offer out there for somewhere else. I was told last night that I want to say there's a Texas team that he is in the running for their head coaching position.
Well, good.
It's been under the radar a little bit from what I can gather, but you know, I hope him well. I wish him well. I don't think that it's panned out the way we were led to believe it would be.
Nope,
So,
it hasn't. It hasn't.
Jeff brought it up, North Texas. I thought that's who it was. I didn't want to say it without being for sure. But yeah, North Texas.
Well, hey, good for him, man.
That's who I've heard anyway. Now,
And Dabo's always got a plan, so he's already got a few candidates probably in his back pocket to say, "All right, let me check on this dude."
exactly. I'm sure that if that is the case, he's already talked to some people. Now, with that being said, not in a way that you're not supposed to, okay? Because if you've got coaches out there that are still coaching, I don't see Dabo going in there going, "Hey, I just don't believe Dabo would do that."
No, he's
Um,
not going to
now,
do that.
I think a lot of things that you've read or you've seen over the last few weeks, especially that Thomas Allen, I think it was after the SMU game, I think, is when he pretty much went in there and combined your linebackers, if I'm not mistaken, your linebackers, your cornerbacks, and your safeties.
Yep.
And you had all three of those combined into one meeting group. I believe that is very telling. And this is like we've said before, I know you've pointed it out, I'm pointing it out again. These are just our opinions. This is just me reading what I've read and seeing what I've seen. And I feel like that's very telling in that, I think somebody asked me over the weekend, well, why do you think it took to the SMU game to do that? And in my opinion, I believe that, I think Coach Allen, at that point had enough evidence to go in and go, "Look, Coach, I think I can help us out here if you allow me to let my son orchestrate those meetings."
Yeah.
What do we have to lose? You see what I'm saying? And I think you've seen a big difference in the way that all three of those positions have played going forward.
Oh yeah.
Now,
absolutely.
I'm wondering at this point. This is me questioning, whether Coach Khan will be back, whether Coach Reed will be back, and if they are, what their roles will be, or if one or the other does not come back.
Yeah. Well, Reed. I'm not saying that Coach Sweeney's a homer, anything like that, but Reed's been there for a hot minute.
Yep.
And he's had success.
Coach Khan is one of his best friends.
Yeah, I mean,
from my understanding. So
I'm thinking we might maybe see some changes as far as responsibilities.
I could see that. I could see that.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if that defensive staff got shaken up a little bit. I can say that, but
yeah.
It's going to be interesting off season. I think it's going to be even more interesting to see who sticks with us, what players stick with us. I just have a gut feeling one of those defensive players might stick around another season. I don't know who. I'm hoping Parker. I'm hoping he sticks around. I think Peter Woods is more than likely gone, and Avion Terrell's probably gone. It would be amazing if all three stayed. I mean, we've been surprised before. Remember when Christian Wilkins and Cleveland Farrell and Austin, who else was it? Was Austin Bryant? Those three dudes decided.
It was Cleveland Farrell, Cleveland Farrell, Christian Wilkins, Sexy Dexy Lawrence, Dexter Lawrence. Was it Austin Bryant?
I can't remember, but decided to stay that extra year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we won national championship.
We did.
And look here, I'm gonna tell you, I'm not predicting any national championship for next year.
Oh, I know.
We should have a really good team next year. We've had a pretty young football team, and a lot of guys have gotten some experience.
And I'm really expecting Coach Sweeney to hit the portal even harder this year than he did last year. Now, and I don't want. I'm not fueling into all of those fans that believe he hates the portal and refuses to use the portal, even though he's been using the portal or trying to use the portal for several years. Okay. A lot of people do not realize that there have been a couple of years there that we've tried hard to get offensive linemen out of the portal and they just have not done it.
Yep.
Okay. Now, at the same time, what I find funny is when Nick Saban was still coaching, we were hearing about how Dabo refused to use the portal. But at the same time, he was competing with Nick Saban, and Nick Saban wasn't using the portal all that much. He was
Yep.
putting play kind of like Dabo did this year,
Yep.
okay, with a receiver and then a linebacker and a defensive end. I mean, all right, so and people have been so furious this year. Some of these fans have really. It's been funny at times to watch some of these fans. It's because we didn't use the portal. We got 3 players out of it on a team that was expected to compete for a national championship. Who else did you need?
Exactly.
Who
That's what a lot of fans. I mean, of course, we want to put together the best team to win the national championship every year, but that ain't gonna happen. But you got to look at it like this. This is the way I look at it. Coach Sweeney, he likes who he's got on his roster.
Yep.
I mean, I can guarantee he'll go position by position and look at who we've got, the depth that's there, how they perform. I mean, he's got his little plan, but he's liked who he's had, and
that's right.
And I have too.
Yeah,
we had a need at defensive end. Absolutely, we had a need at defensive end. We have had a need to have a tall 6'4", 6'5" receiver for the past several years. He went out and got one of those. He'd had a few drops here and there at critical times, but he's a pretty good ball player and he's dedicated. And
at the same time, I don't think he was used correctly.
Yep. And he's addressed those needs.
That's right. I agree. I totally agree.
We're loaded. This season we're loaded on the offensive line. I mean, we've had so many injuries on the line, but you really can't. I mean, they might have underperformed a lot of games. Yep, but there's a lot of experience there. Same with the defensive line. A lot of experience there, minus at defensive end. That was a little weak point. The secondary has been loaded. It's loaded with a lot of young guys, and maybe we should have gone after maybe another safety or corner there.
Yeah.
But you got like Tyler Venables back there, who's been there for about as long as Renfro was. But
I hear he put his retirement papers in this week. He should be. I think he's getting Medicaid or Medicare after this year.
I
I'm not
swear.
sure.
I swear. But I mean, I think that Coach Sweeney is just. I think he's done what's best for the team, and the transfer portal. He addressed the needs, and this year he might go at 5 or 6. But does it work for Florida State?
Oh. They had one good year, if you think about it. They had one good year,
right?
And they've been chasing it ever since.
Right. So the portal is not a quick fix. I mean, it can put some patches in there, to stop the leaks. But I mean, what player? I mean, Florida State came off 3 years ago? They were undefeated regular season.
That's
right.
Yep.
All right. But what player with their history? Their tradition that they have there in football, who wouldn't want to go to Florida State?
Exactly right.
Exactly right. So he's picking up some good ball players, but he just can't put it together. I believe it's different for football than basketball or baseball putting a team together. You can hit the portal with basketball and baseball and grab all these guys and put them together and have a heck of a team. Because they're used to that. These guys are used to playing with different players and fitting into a certain kind of. They're baseball and basketball. They're used to that.
That's right.
That's why we had such success in baseball last year. I mean, I'd have to go and read the roster once a week just so I know who a lot of the players were.
Yeah.
And the same with basketball this year. But football is a different ball game. With you just can't bring in 11 new guys and say, all right, we're gonna be ready by the fall to compete.
Well, and see, that's what a lot of fans don't realize too. Offensive linemen, it's not as easy and not as simple as bringing an offensive lineman in out of the portal and going, okay, you plug him in here and go, okay, go play this position. Because, and I wouldn't have known this until I got into, working with the Clemson Junkies and stuff while I did. Okay. Those positions are really, really a lot more complicated than just block the fella in front of you, and it takes time for offensive linemen to get adjusted to the college landscape and the playbook that Clemson runs and stuff like that. And see, people don't realize that, you have a playbook for your offense, yes, but you also have a separate playbook for your offensive lineman compared to quarterback, compared to running back, compared to wide receiver.
That's right.
Compared to tight end. Okay.
Hey, those offensive linemen, they've got to read defenses just like a quarterback does for the most part.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
They aren't just reading what's going to be happening on the defensive line. What's this linebacker doing? What's this corner over here doing? And then they've got to talk with each other in a matter of seconds.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. And know exactly where they're going and what they're doing.
That's right.
How many times do we see it this year that we went to pull a guard for, and the play get blown up because the guard that was supposed to pull didn't get where he was supposed to get to in time?
Yep.
Split seconds, man. Split seconds.
Absolutely.
You brought up Florida State a minute ago, and I've been wanting to bring this up. I actually was watching a podcast with Jordan Travis. I think it is. Jordan Travis. And I did not realize this when he was talking about Dabo Swinney and the fact that after he got hurt, he got a phone call out of the blue and he wasn't expecting it. And
I saw that.
When he answered, it was actually Dabo Swinney, and he was telling him, and he has the utmost respect for Coach Swinney because of this. And the guy that he was doing the podcast with said, that's why you never talk trash about. He said, nope, I never will. He said, he'll always have my respect. And I was impressed with that because we all know, one of Clemson's most hated rivals is Florida State. A lot of people don't realize that, and I didn't know how close they were until yesterday, how close Dabo and Beamer are.
Oh, yeah. Man. And, they're good friends.
So they were talking about yesterday during the game, said fans probably wouldn't like to know this, but their wives text each other almost weekly, and that's
the same with Spurrier and his wife. I mean,
yep.
They were good.
I tell that story all the time. That everybody thought that Dabo and the old ball coach hated each other, and they're actually best of friends, man.
Love each other, and look here, Coach. He's got a lot of respect and admiration for Beamer too.
Yep, he does.
He had a lot of good things to say about him after the game.
Yep.
Yesterday also.
I love his comments. They asked, he said, what Coach Swinney, what would you tell the Carolina fans that are going through this same thing with Beamer in his 5th year, blah, blah, blah? He says, look, Gamecock fans don't want to hear anything I got to say. Nothing. Anything I say, they're not going to want to hear. He says, hey, when I was coming here, I was getting the FUs all the way in here, man.
That's right.
Only in Coach Swinney fashion. Okay.
Well, that's right. I love it too.
So, well, Craig,
great win.
It was, man. It was a great win. Also, the Clemson basketball team actually won Friday. I think it was
Alabama A&M, I believe.
Yep. But this week, I think, or the next couple of games are going to be the telltales. That was, or that is Alabama. Jeff had to point that out to me the other day, and I appreciate him still for telling us. And I agree. That was hilarious, man. We have been fortunate not only to have a good coach, but to have a coach that can laugh things off, can, find the good in, even at the darkest of times. And I think it shows in this team. And like you said earlier, the culture that he's built at Clemson.
Yep.
So,
Well, and I want to say this real quick, Freddie.
mhm.
The reason Dabo is the way he is because of his faith in Christ.
Yep. And you brought up earlier, you were saying about Tony Elliott's his path. If you think about it, it's the same way for Dabo.
Oh yeah.
I mean, most people that haven't been following Clemson as long as you and I have and Jeff has would never know that that Dabo actually lived with his mother while he was in college.
Yep.
Because they were homeless.
Yep.
Okay. I've had some
His
Gamecock
father was an
fans.
alcoholic.
Yeah. Yeah. Sadly, I mean, for the most part, his dad just never was there for him. They were able to get a better relationship, later in life. And I'm thankful, for him for that, or, thankful
Yeah.
for him that they were able to do that. But yeah, and I've had some Carolina fans that, have kind of laughed that off, but that's not something to laugh about, man.
Yeah.
We've been fortunate. That's right. I mean, you and I mean, we've been fortunate to have, good parents and good home lives and stuff like that. I couldn't imagine, living out of a car, on the side of the road somewhere.
That's right.
It's just a thought I don't even want to entertain. So,
Yep.
but
And look where he is now. And I'm
exactly.
gonna say this: in what he's been with us 15 full seasons.
Yep.
And this is his worst record after
Yeah.
15 years. That says a lot. And you know what
probably,
he and
probably
guess
one of
what?
his best coaching jobs.
That's right. And he said yesterday or last night, he said, we're going to win more national championships.
Mhm.
We're going to win more ACC championships. He said, we're gonna have times where we're not going to do so great too. He said, they're going to come. And you know what? The best is still yet to come.
Oh yeah, that was another comment he made yesterday. He said, so we've won 11. I mean, 9 of 11 of the last games or something like that. And he said, I'm gonna tell you, those 2 losses were some of the worst days ever, man. Some of the worst days ever. And so
Crazy.
But anyway, all right, brother. It has come time. Well, past time.
Yep.
My wife is actually calling me, which tells me I'm past where we should be.
There you go.
Past. So,
And my grandbaby's here. So how about next week? Hopefully we'll be talking about a bowl destination or a possible bowl destination. Well, I think we'll probably have some news coming out of the Clemson camp this week of some maybe some changes, personnel, players, coaches. Who knows?
I know.
Hey,
it's hard to believe.
Lane Kiffin is going to LSU.
Oh yeah. Hard to believe that we are actually going to be going into next weekend without a football game to really talk about Clemson wise.
Yep. Hey, but we got some basketball to talk about too.
There you go. All right, dude. Good seeing you. Good talking to you.
You too, brother.
Y'all take care. As we always say, y'all, until the next time, go Tigers.
Go Tigers. Fight, baby, fight, baby, fight, fight.